That is the coming of hope. I want to invite Alexis. Would you please come forward and share your testimony? Alexis, last year received the award from the diocese for the youth. Come here. For the youth activities, and now she wants to share with us, and also especially the people who belong to the same age, about her testimony of faith. Before that, let me ask you, how old are you?
I am 16 years old.
And what school are you in now?
I go to Great Oak High School.
Okay, good. Now, let us share her testimony of faith.
Thank you. Good morning. I am Alexis Alcaraz, a junior in high school, and I'm here to talk to you today about the beauty of the Eucharistic sacrament and how we experience it in Eucharistic adoration. In early years, throughout my being brought up in the Catholic faith, in faith formation, I was taught, and as all of us are taught, what the Eucharist is and what happens in the transfiguration of the Holy Host, and how the bread and wine are not that, they are changed and consecrated to be the living presence of the body and blood of Christ. Now, faith formation guides us with the steps toward knowing what our faith is by letting us know what the Eucharist is, but that last step is what we need to take for ourselves and ask ourselves whether or not we do believe that it is the living presence there, and why we pray every Sunday right after taking the host, because we reflect on what has just occurred and the holy presence that we had taken in. And that is the last step we take for ourselves in believing in order to know where our path with our faith lies. Recently, I was blessed with the opportunity to attend NCYC with our youth core team, which is the National Catholic Youth Convention, and we learned how to deepen our faith and understand our spiritual life, as well as how to serve in the church and understand what is going on. And we were also able to meet thousands of other youth who were my age, who had strong faith and a love for the church. And there, we were given the experience of the Holy Hour, which was unlike any other. It touched us, it moved us, and it spoke to us because it was an experience crafted to the youth. And it built on my prior experience here in our community at St. Catherine's in attending Mass every Sunday and going to the first Friday of the month Eucharistic adoration services held here as well. That experience at NCYC built on what I understood as the Eucharist and how we need to appreciate the fact that we go to Eucharistic adoration in order to form those conversations with God in that silence as we pray with the monstrance, because of that strong presence, because we are blessed by God Himself, sent down through the power of our clergy. And we form conversations in that silence with God, and understanding that our lives can be noisy, and we are finally ready to focus on the host, focus on God, and listen to what He is saying to us. And as for Holy Communion, which we receive every Sunday, it happens for a reason, because it is given to every one of us, every individual, the billions of Catholics around the world or so. And it is given to every individual as a reminder that we are seen and we are known and we are loved by God, who is almighty and powerful and has created our universe, but chooses to love each and every one of us. And in that understanding, in that realization of how much we are loved, we return Him His love with the grace that we were given, and we give Him thanks for all that He has done for us. Thank you.
That's good. Alexis, stay there. Let me ask you something. I did not check the sharing because I want them to speak from their heart. So I did not check the sharing. And even now with these questions, let me ask you something. I know you go to church every Sunday. Do you really believe that in the Eucharist we have the presence of Jesus? Do you believe it?
I do.
One thing I want to ask you, in the future, or if you want to share now, it's okay. I know you go to church and you believe that Jesus is here. So that is what we are here. But I also recognize many young people like you or a little bit older do not want to go to church on Sundays anymore. If you can tell them, go to church, what do you say?
And I would say that it is something we need to experience just once a week, every time, in order to refresh and reawaken and remind ourselves of what our faith is.
Very good. And one more thing. Do you go to church from your will, or your parents said that, Alexis, if you don't go? So what helped you to go to church by yourself or from your parents?
I go to the church to serve the people here and to be reminded of what our community looks like.
Thank you.